to another episode of Burn the Wagon. We're here to burn the wagon. That is patriarchy, capitalism, and colonialism. Today, my guest will be Stuart James, dope ass rapper, dope rapper. I've been tapping in with a lot lately. So, yeah, we're gonna do this. Accept. Okay, come on now. Of course, Instagram wants to make it difficult. What the hell? All right, I'm trying to send you one, Stuart, but shit ain't working, and I'm trying to accept yours, but okay. So it's saying you're unable to join the live for some reason. Hey, there we go.
There we go.
Did you hear me?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, dope. All right, thank you. I appreciate you coming on. Like I said, I've been listening to you for a minute, man.
Yeah.
I'm stoked as fuck to have you on this episode and have chopping it up with me today.
Well, I appreciate it. We just got done, me and my fiance right here. We got done
Hey,
we just got done climbing around up in Lookout Mountain up here in Denver.
that's what's up. Are you on your way out here to Cali, right?
Yep, we're gonna be leaving to like start the drive from Denver tomorrow morning. So even then, that's like 17 hours. So
That's a mission,
it's gonna be.
man. All right, before we get started, I always start off with a little prayer.
Mhm.
So we go on that. I don't have sage right now. If you guys have some, you guys can definitely go ahead and burn some. But I just want to send love to anybody that's suffering from mental health issues out there. I want to send love to anybody that's suffering from domestic violence issues. I want to send love to anybody that's suffering from drug addiction issues. I want to send love to everybody that's tuning in today to this live or listening later on. I want to send love to lastly to our precious Mother Earth. Today I'm in Pomo territory up in Mendocino County. I'm back home, so much love to anybody that wants to drop their location in the comments. That'd be great. So again, today my first thing I want to start off with always is where you're from and what tribes or tribes you're from. So hello. Uh, all right, so we might be having some technical difficulties. So we're gonna try this one more time. Oh, there we go. Accept.
Yo.
Yo, what's up?
Okay. Well, I'm from the Spirit Lake Reservation in North Dakota. They call it the Mani Wakan Oyate. Mani is like water. Wakan is like spirit, holy. I was born and raised on the reservation out there, and just kind of like started my music journey by just kind of like documenting, I guess, the realities of where we were at and stuff. Because I really like Nas, Jay-Z, Biggie, and all them. So like they always kind of like did that. So that's kind of where my music journey started. But a lot of it was influenced by where I'm from.
You remember that, like, you remember you have like like that first verse. Do you remember that first verse you wrote, or like who like inspired you to write that first verse?
I believe that it was actually a diss track to one of these dudes back home that was like it was, I don't know, he just thought he was like so cool. He was always talking this smack about beating people up, and then I seen him like just get punked hard. And I don't know, something just made me write about that. And that was like the first verse I ever rapped out loud. And then I was kind of realizing like, because I had like a lot of spite just being picked on as a kid and stuff for being like overweight and all that. It was just like all this spite I was letting out. And then after I kind of got that out, I was like, okay, I need to say something now because this isn't like this ain't good.
Damn, that's wild. And how big is your res?
It's not very large. It's like I think it's like less than 5,000 people, probably like in total, like, from one end of the res to the other, it's about like probably like 40 miles maybe or less.
Man, that's crazy. That's way bigger than my res. My res got like maybe like 30 houses on it.
Yeah. I mean, in all reality, like there's a few, different housings in the area and stuff, but yeah, it's decently like I've seen bigger reses, but this one's, kind of in the middle, I guess, a little more towards the smaller end of reservations that I've been to.
That's what's up.
So,
And honestly, like one of the my favorite lines in Siwahe is don't you only really know how to speak from where you're from, and that's like that really I connect with a lot of like lyrics in that song. That song is
mhm.
like I said on repeat right now since I moved back to the res. Are you
Yeah.
living on the res right now?
No, I'm actually living in Fargo, North Dakota. It's like the biggest city in North Dakota. Um, I moved there a couple years ago when me and my fiance got together. We started they call it shacking up. Um, Basically it's the native term for living together. Um, but yeah, I moved out there and a lot of people were telling me like you're gonna have a lot of opportunities. Fargo's this, Fargo's that, and I'm like, it's kind of crazy because the more you get out, like you realize the smaller everything is. And in Fargo, I don't know, like the music scene's a little weird. Everybody's in competition. Nobody wants to build. Everybody just wants to like outdo each other. And like that's good if you have that with a balance of like working together. And it's just like, man, it's just like so and so thinks they're better than me, and I'm gonna show them I'm better. And it's like it's just I don't know. I don't mesh well with some of that. So a lot of my shows are like out of state, basically. So
Honestly, that's kind of like my because I do listen to rap, but like I mainly listen to reggae, and that's my problem with rap because like rap sometimes like there's this like this tough guy persona and this like I like you said I'm better than you persona, and like I don't really like I don't mesh with that like that ego shit.
yeah,
Like I gotta like I don't mess with that shit. You know what I mean? Like and that's why
yeah,
like I like rappers like you because you talk more than about like I got this, I got this. This is
yeah,
what I do. This is what I'm about. You know what I mean? And it's actual substance to the lyrics.
yeah. Well, it's crazy because even with like some of the braggadocious rap that I do, it's not really aimed at like trying to like flex on people or whatever. It's aimed at simply saying like you need to check yourself before talking to people that have done more than you. You need to realize maybe where you're at and understand that people are doing way more. If you want to be that dude, if you want to be like the little, like talking, bragging kind of rapper, like you got to realize that there's some people out there doing this way more than you. It's more of like a reality check rather than like a trying to degrade somebody. And if people feel degraded, like so be it. But it's like those are my truths when I get braggadocious. You know what I mean? Like if I talk about like, well, I'm going here, and you're not, then it's kind of just a fact. It's not really like I'm saying like you ain't this, you ain't that. It's like I'm here, you're not. And if you want to be mad about that, then yeah, it's a fact though, And that's kind of where I base my bragging type of stuff. That's where it's at. That's the way that I've always kind of done music is just stating facts rather than trying to, it's like you don't really big yourself up by bringing somebody else down by like stepping on other people. So that's kind of like where a lot of my music is rooted in is just speaking facts, basically.
I feel it. And back to that first one that blew up, that reel that blew up. It was it was what was it? Man, what was that song? It was the about the MMIW. That's the first one I see that really blew up.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. And do you remember like your first live show?
I do it. It was actually at one of the rec centers on the reservation. That was my first show. It was they call it the Crow Hill Rec, and it was just me and my cousin. We just kind of rapped over our track because we didn't really know nothing about whatever, and it was just like we were all just like head down and kind of like just did it. Um, and then after that, I was like, I realized like, wow, I could like it was just like I could do this. It wasn't really like a lot of people kind of like take their like when they talk about affirmations, positive affirmations in the morning. And I seen this video that said like you don't gain confidence by screaming positive affirmations to yourself every morning. You gain it through actions. And so like when I did that first show, I was like, I could do this. And then every single time I did a show, I tried to do something different and tried to whatever. So then it just slowly started gaining that confidence that like I could really do this. Whereas some people are like, I'm gonna be this, I'm gonna be that, and ain't nobody gonna stop me. And I just always kind of kept it like, I don't know, like I could be good if I do what I need to do, is what was my mentality. And it's like actionable steps rather than just like delusions, you know. But
Yeah.
that
And
that was like the first show. That's what it showed me that I could do it.
that's what's up. And you and your cousin went in on that show, you said, right? Is he
Hmm.
still rapping with you?
No, he kind of went a few different routes in life. He has a good family right now and stuff. He's living good and stuff. It's just I think our visions were a little different because he started doing it with his boys, and then it was like the music making was like really cool. He wanted to make stuff. He wanted to do that, and then I was like, I want to make my life this now. But he had, you know, he had a little family, so that's what kind of like ate up his time, and eventually it just kind of got too much, so he just backed away from music and he never really formally announced that. He just kind of like fell back from it and was like, "Hey, I got this to do, like, but here's the mic, you can keep do, you know." So I was like, "All right." So I just kept running with it.
That's what's
So
up. He laced you
yeah,
with the mic. That's what's up. And
yeah.
Better
He
Days
he,
was the
he
first one.
even what's that?
No, go ahead. My bad.
Oh, I was just saying, like, he laid out a blueprint and helped me understand what it, you know, it's really just we were trying to crack the code because everybody tries to figure out on music or anything they do, they want to figure out how to make it instantly, but it's like without realizing that making it is like it's just a different, like everybody has a different view of it. So the blueprint that I had was just make the music, keep making the music until you sound good, until you're confident with it. And that's where I feel like I'm at now. Like, you know, 14 years later, I started in 2009. So like 14 years later, I finally feel confident to be presented as a rapper or a hip hop artist, because I put in the work and I feel like I can make gold on anything now. But I never felt that way. Like even last year, I didn't feel that way. So yeah,
Man,
it's like a journey.
the way I'm like every time you like I said, like all these lyrics, man, I connect so much with them, and like you said, that confidence is there, and like I'm hearing it as a listener, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
and I barely been listening for like not that long, but like as soon as I heard that Better Days one, I like was like I need to go deep.
yeah,
I looked this shit up on
yeah,
Bandcamp, and then like the next thing you know, the shit was like on Spotify. So I was like, I gotta go way deeper into this because this is like what I fuck with right now. Because this is my like
yeah,
everything you're rapping about is my life that I want to start like bringing up to people and like let people know about res life and shit.
yeah. Well, Better Days. I remember when I wrote that. Like, so it was during COVID when I wrote that. So like that was like a 2 year old, almost a 2 year old verse, and I just kind of did it. I mean, I only know how to tell the real story. Real story at the time was I just seen all these, you know, like native this, native that, native that, native that, native that. So a part of me was like, okay, I want to see what this is like. Like I want to see what it's like I um if I use the keywords that people use, like stolen land, broken treaties, like all these keywords, and I just put it in a verse. And I remember it like it started as like a just like a corny. I thought it was corny at first when I started writing it,
Yeah,
and even when I recorded it, it was just listening back. I was just like, man, I'm just using keywords. But at the same time, when the hook came in, when the guy did the hook, I was like, oh, this could really be something. And then when the other dude Selfie laid his track on there, his verse, I was like, it took on more impact. But at first, it started just kind of like I felt corny using all those keywords that everybody uses because it's kind of a thing now, like native this, native that, and it's just kind of like, okay, well, you know, like I don't know. So that's where that started. But then it ended up we shot it. We were actually in the Black Hills and we were like, you know, taking video, and we were originally just taking pictures because my fiance is a model and she did a lot of work like around native. She's doing more work around native country, but she, you know, at first she was just like into fashion and stuff. So she even kind of in it, like kind of infiltrated like even like the white side of fashion before the native side. So she knows a lot about what she does. And we were just in there shooting, you know, pictures out in the Black Hills. And then I said, hey, I should do a verse out here. This is a cool background, you know. And then we just kind of just shot shot the video for it, and then it was, well, I never even put a video out, just the reel. And I was like, I got a feeling about this. I kept thinking, there's a fox, a black fox. But it was like I had a feeling about it. And then once we like did it, it was like we started seeing the numbers go crazy, and I was like, holy shit. But then like the first thing I thought was like, wow, that really does work with keywords. I was like, that really does when you kind of just like make it, you hand it over to people the way that they like what receiving it, and it just took off. And to this day, that's actually my most viewed verse that I've ever done. I wouldn't say that it's the most powerful, but a lot of people like it. I feel like, like I have other verses that are a little more impactful, but that one was the one that people just loved. So, I never really thought of like trying to take it further and continuing to try that. It's just like I just do what comes to me, and that what comes to my like my spirit, my soul at that time, and then I create it. But at that time,
Definitely.
that's what it needed. I feel like
And for me, I said Tiwahi is like, I think that's how you pronounce it, right?
Chihuahua.
Tiwahi.
Yep.
Yeah, that's my like top, that's the most powerful song that I listen to. And like somebody just said in the comments, the tears to my eyes, it straight up does, because like just I can just picture like just like people from my res when I like think of like listen to those lyrics in that song. You know what I mean? Like it's dope. And
Yeah.
like you were saying, like keywords with like land back and like decolonize and stuff like that. Like me and my aunt were talking the other day. It's cool to be native right now. So
Mhm.
like people are really using those keywords and those things. You know what I mean? And wearing earrings and wearing necklaces and shit. But they aren't
Yeah.
really like down to live the res life, or they aren't really like putting into the communities of the res. You know?
That that's one of the biggest issues I've had with a lot of, and this is where I had to learn how to tone my voice down, because it was like I would call out so much stuff. Like my Facebook, oh man, I got unfriended so many times by so many people who would try to argue with me or whatever. But it was just like I just always kind of felt like if you want to talk about this, and this, then at least be doing something about it. At least do something to help, kind of like bandage up the problem or something. And 2018, I ended up back on the res for a few years, and we started a boxing team. We started a lot of stuff on the res, and we were just doing things. And we built a presence. We do a community event every year, youth event. We're doing that. It's actually in 2 weeks. We're doing one. It's called Tiwahe Day, and it's just family day, so just 3-on-3 tournament, cookout and stuff. So we're just doing things for the community out of the goodness of our heart, because like we ain't getting paid for it, but it's like we're able to. We have the blueprint for it. We have the ability to do it, so we're gonna do it to give these kids a break from their life just for even one day. And so it's like, but a lot of people who, like you said, they wear the earrings, they wear the beadwork, they go and buy the moccasins, they wear the ribbon skirts and shirts, and it's like, but then when they go home, all that stuff comes off. They're just right back on Facebook. They're going back to their job, and they're not really diving in and doing the work that's needed, which is okay. But it's like, it just doesn't feel right that some people are getting these grant money, some people are getting all this different stuff for programming, but yet it's not hard to do the work. It's just some people just don't know how, but they also don't want to pay people or bring people in to help. They just want to keep, raking it in, and it's like, all right. But that's like the darker side of things a lot of people don't want to talk about. But the reason why they don't want to talk about it is because they also don't want to ruin their opportunity to possibly get paid too.
No, it's true, man. Like, and also tribal. Like, I don't know, like if you guys are dealing with tribal politics out there, but tribal politics out here is wild. And like,
Yeah.
thing with it, like people do hoard that money. People do, and like the community needs help. The community needs food. The community needs like clothes. The community needs all kind of shit. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And like you're saying, people do hoard these opportunities for themselves, or like the people they know, or the people they fuck with. You know what I mean? So it's like it's really hard, man. Like you want to promote like people, encourage people and stuff, and you want to get out there and help, but like at the same time, some people in the community make it a little bit difficult.
Well, the one issue, like I said on Tiwahe, like it's a shame the way we live, taking more than what we need. It's like a lot of our tribal leaders. I mean, we got a new tribal councilman back home. We'll see how that goes. So far, so good. But it's like in the past, there's always this history of like embezzlement. You'll hear about people, their families getting hooked up. I got $300 check for this, and this, and it's like, okay, well, so you don't have to work, but we all have to, there's a lot of stuff like that, and it's just hoarding resources for whatever reason. I don't know. But it's like, like our event back home, like we can put that on. If somebody was to just pay for our prizes for the 3-on-3, uh, like I have a sound system, but if you were to just pay for those prizes for the 3-on-3, people would show up, pay for the food. That's it, but they make it sound like we can't give cash donations. That's the first thing I heard this year when I was asking for help from the tribal programs. They're like, we can't give monetary donations. And I'm like, I'm not asking for that. And it's like, so that's where their head is at, is instantly like, we can't give you money. I don't, and then tribal program directors be like, I don't know my budget. How do you not know your budget as a program director? It's like, you know it. You just tell me that because you don't want to, you think I'm asking for money right away. And it's like,
Yeah,
I am, even if I am, why don't you guys host this event then? Why don't you guys do events for people then? Give it up to the people that are going to help then. The people that are willing to do the work.
and you're doing it just out of just because you want to see the community have an event, and the communities want events to go to. They want things to do. We need
Yeah.
to get them out of our houses. We need to get, cause like opioids right now is a huge thing on my res, and people need to get
Yeah.
out of their houses and interact with other people and have things to do, because that's a big thing for us, is like sitting in the house and people are just high on opioids, and
Yeah.
it's big in California too. Just not my res, it's all California too. So like it's really
Yeah.
hard. Like I definitely like. Is that the first event that you guys have done?
I mean, it's the first, well, we did another one with the same blueprint back in like 2018 with this one guy who he was like sober at the time. He's like he was doing good things, trying to do good things. So we were helping him out, but then he kind of like fell off. So, but we've done that in 2018, 2019. We didn't do it in 2020 because we were advised because of COVID to not whatever. And then, so we were advised not to because of the health concern, but yet the tribe did something very, very similar to it that year in 2020. But we picked it back up 2021, and then we picked it up last year. So this will be our like fourth year doing it.
And just because, I mean, I mean, it would be cool to get the tribe's help, but I mean, like, I think it's dope to, like, you're just out there just doing it out of the kindness of your heart. You don't need the help of them.
Yeah.
You're just doing it. I think that's
hmm
dope. That's just some grassroots, like, just shit that just pull up and you just do it. You know what I mean? I think that's hella dope.
Because I mean, our people back then, like, we took care of each other when like we go to Sundance every year in Fort Yates and Standing Rock, and like when we're up there, it's like, man, it was crazy this year because like um for all the ceremony police who might be in the comments, just no, I'm not sharing nothing crazy sacred. It's just like, so it started like raining pretty good one day, and then like everybody, like, most people would be like, oh man, I don't think we can do this. Everybody at that Sundance just stepped up and they made things happen. Like there was people, like, it was raining pretty bad that morning, and it was like they normally, like, they'll serve breakfast for the people who are like in camp or whatever. And they were going around in like raincoats, giving coffee to people's cars, delivering like food and stuff. And it's like, that's just the type of stuff that I know, the people that I know, they just get stuff done, and they don't have excuses. They find a way. And that's what I like about them, because that motivates me to realize, like, you don't need to do all this. You don't need a bunch of stuff. You can just get it done if you just get up and do it. And it seems like a lot of people, you always hear this, like, like if you have a talented friend who might be really good at rapping and they don't want to pick it up, or whatever, it's like, hey man, why don't you just put the music out, just do this. Oh well, I need this, I need that, I don't have this. And it's like, I just put a reel up yesterday. My fiance, she shot, we were at this cool spot, she was just holding the phone recording, and I was just rapping whatever. I took the phone, I have an app, I put the lyrics on there, tried my best to line the music up all on the phone and then put it out. You don't need all these things and that's kind of the point of all of it, is that you don't need a lot. You can get done a lot of stuff with a little stuff, and it can be great. And one of the other parts added on to, the independence of it is like, there's this story about this guy whose car broke down, right? And he stuck his thumb out for a while. Wanted people to help, and nobody would stop. So in his mind, it's like, oh, he got tired of waiting for help, so he started pushing it himself. And as he was pushing it himself, he didn't know where he was going. He just started going to the nearest place or whatever, and then people started stopping and helping him. People started pushing with him. They hooked up his car and pulled him to the next, But point of that story is like nobody's gonna help you if you're just sitting on your ass waiting for help. But if you get up and just start moving a little bit, even just a little bit, just make a little bit of effort, people see that, they'll throw money at you. What do you need? Do you need this? I got this. They'll offer that help easily. But if you're not
Hmm.
moving, and then that's where that pity party kicks in of like, oh, nobody wants to help me. No, it's like, okay, bro, listen, if you had a bro that didn't want to get a job, didn't want to do things he's capable of, and wasn't doing it, yeah, you're not going to want to give him money. But if he has a job, if he has a way of if he's making an effort and asks you for help, you'll help him. But I just think that's the issue on the reservation is like lack of motivation, because I think sometimes people are looking for a end result or a finish line, and sometimes they create imaginary finish lines. And once they get to this point where, oh, like for instance, rappers, I made 10 songs, none of these blew up yet, I'm done. You got to make 20, 30, 40, 50, like, and whatever you think blowing up is, that's where you got to be very, very mindful of everything you do in life, how you want things to be, how you want your life to be, and you got to be specific about it with yourself in order to reach that. Otherwise, a lot of people's idea of making it is getting signed to a big label, and then that's making it. So you got to be really specific about your goals and all that.
And also you said you've been doing it what, like since 10 years, you know what I mean? Or what, like 10 plus years.
14.
So like people got to put in that work. People don't realize like they have to put in that work. They have to put in that practice too, you know what I mean? So it's a lot more than just putting out songs. People have to like, you know, definitely put in that work. And like a lot of people aren't ready to put in that work to be really good at something.
A lot of people are too afraid of messing up too. Like
Yeah, it's true.
when I when I do shows, like, bro, like I remember I played it off really cool. I played it off in my last show really well. I forgot the lyrics to my first verse of this old song,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, and I was about to start rapping, and I went to the computer, and I was like, oh, what? And I played it. I like ran it back, and I was like, what happened? And I was like, that's weird. And then I played it, and then I remember the verse, like, and then I kicked it in. Like, so it's like eventually, like you have to mess up in order to grow, because if you don't mess up, and then that time comes where you do mess up, you can learn how to adjust that, or you can learn how to like, and then messing up is a part of growth. Like I make like hand drum sticks and stuff, I was carrying on with me. But I started making hand drum sticks, and like, they're not bad, at
Mhm.
all. Um but I made my best power drum stick recently, but I've been doing them for like 10 years, and it's like I keep messing up, but I just keep trying different things every time. And then I finally made a perfect one in my eyes, but it took 30, 40 sticks to actually be able to be good at that. And people don't
Yeah.
realize you're gonna mess up. That's how you get better.
Yeah, and honestly, you know how many fucking episodes I accidentally erased of this damn podcast? Like in the beginning when I started, asked like 10 people if they wanted to come on as a guest, and they're like, ah, not yet, not you know, I'm not ready. And then like I just uploaded an episode by myself, and that like you said, that's when people are like, oh, let's do it, I'm down, like let me do this. And then the homie came through as a producer, was like, let's make a theme song, let's really make this a thing, you know, let's put it on Spotify, let's make this a thing. And then like you
Yeah.
said, just put that out there, and then people will start coming and help you. You know what I mean? Like, and with the communities that we have a lot of talent. We got a lot of talented ass motherfuckers in our community. So like people are down.
The hard part about, like, I call it trailblazing or pathfinding, like, hard part is that sometimes you're going to be the one to make all the mistakes, but the nice thing about it, like I make my own clothing, the Tiwahe brand, and I went through a lot of different mishaps, spent a lot of money on shit that was just like didn't work, but now I have something figured out to where I have it simplified now. And then just the other day, I got a cousin of mine that he does, he has like his own clothing brand and stuff too, but he was like paying people to print his stuff, and I was like, that's cool, it's convenient. But I said, bro, because he said I spent $400 on this order of sweaters, and they weren't even really like that cool. I was like, bro, for $400 you can make your own logo. You can buy your heat press and your prints for $400. You could have your whole setup right now. And he was like, "Oh shit!" So, but I wouldn't know that if I didn't make all those attempts and mess up. So that's like the
100%.
hard part about like blazing the trail for others is like sometimes you gotta be the one to make mistakes. You gotta lead the way and but you get all this knowledge with it, whether it's what to do or what not to do.
Yeah. It's kind of like with your cousin, he gave you the blueprint of like how to do with the music and stuff. You're kind of creating that blueprint of like the clothing and like how to all bring it all together for whoever's around you. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah. And just that even just like getting myself like shows and stuff like my fiance, she was under a modeling agency and like the woman who was running it was just kind of like she made it seem this this whatever, and the more I talked to her about it I was like, that don't sound like a good deal. She was just ambitious, she wanted to model, she wanted to know everything about it. So it's like it's not like her fault at all, it's the manager's fault. So when I would hear all these things from the manager, I'm kind of sitting back like, dang, that don't sound, so it's like, but a manager is supposed to get you work, and that's where they get their percentage for the gigs that they land you. And for me, I was in a management company one time for a little bit, and the guy was like, that was when I first got my Tiwahe sweaters, and this guy was like, "Hey, bro, just so you know, like for the company, we need 15% of every sweater." And I'm like, "I bought these. You didn't put the money up for these. Why do I have to give you, but that's just management. You signed a contract, any music related stuff." And I told him though, I was like, this isn't music related. I said, my name as a rapper brings attention to this, but this is a separate entity. This doesn't have Stuart James music or anything on it. This has nothing to do with me other than I'm the one that created it. But this ain't music related. This is its own thing over here. And then that's when he was like, "Oh yeah." And I just seen right there, I was like, "Yeah, I need to get out of this," because it's like I'm already doing all the work myself. I might as well pay myself. I might as well take all the profit then if I'm doing all the work.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense that somebody wants 15% of every single.
Oh, it's cutting out. Hold on, you're cutting out. Oh, maybe I'm losing signal. Hello? You should put it on airplane mode. Yep.
All right, cool. So somebody was calling me, my
Oh,
fault. But yeah, I just
no, it's all
wanted
good.
to just definitely let me know what size you are, and I want to drop you a shirt for sure.
Yeah, I'm probably like a 2X.
All right, cool. I'll get one of those up for you. And I know we said these are like keywords, but like I always like to ask what like decolonize means to you, because it's different for
I
each person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think like decolonize is kind of, I don't know. I think I never knew what it meant, and I never and every like you said, everybody's definition was different. So I kind of like, I don't know. I kind of stepped back from that word and kind of just changed it to like, my definition of it is just like reconnecting with like who we are as people, because it was like we're already colonized whether we like it or not.
That's true.
And it's kind of like this right now, even our interaction right here, it wouldn't happen without colonization. So it's like we're already colonized. I mean, I understand the ideology of like decolonize your mind, decolonize this, but it's like, bro, like we love coffee, we love electrolyte drinks after a workout.
I love a
Like
hot
we're
shower.
already, yeah, like we're already. But so to me, it's like, okay, you can still be colonized and reconnect and learn your culture, learn your ways. Really, I mean, I understand the concept of it. I just think that word is kind of like it just becomes what everybody wants it to be, and I don't think we're ever gonna get completely shed what is the colonized concept, because we're living it every day. We don't go hunt our own food, we don't go get our own water every day, we don't get wood every day and keep our house warm with a fire. Like, we don't do that anymore, realistically. So to me, I kind of, my rephrasing of that word is just reconnecting. That's the way I see decolonize. That's what comes to my head when I think of decolonize. I just think of reconnecting. Like, we have to reconnect to our ways. We have to get back to, because in all reality, it's messed up. So many of these people who use decolonize don't even know their ways to begin with. So what are you decolonizing from, and what are you exactly shedding this from if you haven't even learned this yet? Then you're just going to be a human being. You're going to be an atheist if you don't know your ways to begin with, or whatever. I don't know. It's just like we have to learn this first before we can, or while you're getting rid of this mentality, like learn this too. Then I don't know. I just feel like a lot of people don't have that foundation though to begin with.
Yeah, and it is at this point, decolonize is a little bit overused because you see it everywhere right now. You see it
Yeah,
on every all kind of shit. You see
yeah,
everyone using that shit. Everyone say we need to decolonize this, decolonize that, decolonize that. And
yeah,
I definitely like agree with what you're saying because I didn't really think about it like that before. But like that's
yeah,
very true because at this point we are, and I don't think I'm not. We're not going to go back to like not having a thing like money. We're not going to like we're never going to go back to that
yeah.
or like with like to a barter system or trade. We can practice it as much as we want and within our communities, but the overall government and everything like that, people around us are not going to want to go back to that.
And even our own tribal council is like when I mean, if our tribal council was able to decolonize and put the people first again, then maybe we could follow that blueprint. But I mean, even our own tribal government is colonized. I mean, it's a colonized concept. Um, and it's like even the embezzlement, greed, all that stuff is colonized mentality. And so it's like if our leaders aren't even doing that, then why do we have to? If you're not going to, but you're going to tell me, why should I do it then?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And like yeah, like you said, like we love like at least on my res like there's a lot of people that love material shit, so they're not going to give away those
Oh yeah.
material things to decolonize.
I love I had to buy an iPhone 14 Pro when it came out. I was like, man, the camera's crisp. I love the screen. Like I had to get it.
I
I'm not
had
gonna act
to
like I
like
don't like
well
it.
like also like I was investing in the podcast. That's why like I told myself like I'm investing in the podcast. I'm going to create good content. It's going to like you said the camera is fucking incredible. Like it's insane how good that camera is.
I shot my first reel on it, and I was like, dang, this is crazy crisp compared to like
Yeah, man.
so it's like I'm not I mean I just believe that we can all have our ideologies, we can all have our belief systems, and nobody's wrong. I mean, like it's not to say somebody's wrong, it's just the simple fact that in certain lanes, in certain pockets, in certain conversations, some of these things just don't belong with each other. And I think that um if you really want to help, my grandpa said this, like the definition of a warrior is mad different than when people think of warrior, it's like, oh, they're a good fighter, they can kill somebody, they can do this, they can do all, a lot of like aggression stuff, a lot of violent stuff. But my grandpa said, like, a good warrior is somebody who knows their ways, somebody who protects their family and provides for their family and puts their family first, but is willing to do what's necessary to take care of their people. Go pick up trash, go help your elder, go cut some wood, go do something. That's a warrior. That's what I was taught. Whereas some people's concept is people who's a good fighter. Oh, he can fight, he's a warrior. No, because he's so out here fighting his grandpa, he's out here beating up his mom. I don't think that's a warrior in my eyes. So I think that a lot of the concepts that we have and the ideologies that we have, they're not wrong. It's just sometimes they're just, like they don't belong in the same conversation with other people. And sometimes you're going to run into people like that. And I think that's where a lot of this chaos happens, a lot of this division happens, where people just don't want to understand each other. They just want you to believe what they believe. I want you to think the way I do, and I want you to agree with me. And then if you don't, you're a hater, or you're too colonized, all these things. So then it's like you don't even want to understand, you don't want to hear me, then that that's a conversation we can dead, because it's like if we don't want to understand each other, how are we going to learn? You know.
Yeah,
So yeah,
and yeah, people's minds I think go to like that violence because America is obsessed with violence. We're
oh
obsessed with
yeah,
violence. Like it's crazy. Like you and I think that's a good definition of like a warrior definitely is more than a person who fights in battle.
yeah,
Because you're having to be compassionate for other people as well. You know, it's much more than a fight or a you know, somebody who's in battle. So yeah, definitely agree with
Mhm.
that definition of a warrior for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And I,
I definitely thank you for coming on today. Is there any other topics that you wanted to bring up that I didn't bring up? Any shows that you want to promote? Any that Tiwahe website? Definitely go tap in with that. Yeah, definitely just go promote whatever you want to promote or bring up any topics that I didn't bring up.
yeah, I think that like, um, a lot of what I stand for, I mean, even in that song TY, like I said, everything I do is really for my family. Like every decision that I make with music or even money making or anything is always geared towards like not just like what I want, like because I wanted this $170 pair of Nike Air Max 2s or whatever. I wanted them for like 2 years now, but I haven't bought them because I'm like, that's not that doesn't make sense to me, because it's like if I spend this money and that could have been put towards a car payment, that could have been put towards this, I'm not a good provider, I'm not a good partner, I'm not, so um, like it's just the what I stand for is really just taking care of your family, taking care of the people that are close to you, and taking care of those people that are with you. And that's even like the Tiwahe store. Like one day, my niece she was interested in pressing the I was showing her how to, press the stuff, and she was like, I want to do that one day, So it's like being able to give opportunity is a bigger thing than giving a handout, and um, teaching people the proper things, teaching people not to do the things that I've done, the mistakes I've made in life. It's like I haven't been the best partner, I haven't been the best brother, uncle or whatever. I haven't been the best of any of those things all the time, but I try my best, but it's like I fall short. So like I said, everything that I do, the conversations, everything is geared towards like, I hope that this helps somebody. I hope that the music that I make helps somebody. I hope that the clothing I make, somebody thinks that's fire and then they can rock it and then they be the coolest kid in school, like, because a lot of it's really a lot of the things that I want to provide for people is out of necessity of things that I didn't have as a kid. I wasn't a cool kid. I wasn't this and that, but I know now Stu, the cool rapper, vouches for this uncool kid over here and like, hey, leave him alone. He's cool. Oh, he is. Yeah, okay. Because Stuart said he's cool. So it's like all those little things. Like you can do a lot, even though it might not seem like a lot. You can do a lot for somebody without realizing it. And that's kind of the message I want to spread to people is really just like focus on yourself, focus on what you can do for your family, focus on how to take care of your people first before anything. Like land back is cool, but shit, clean up your yard first. Clean your room
Fuck.
first. You know what I mean? Like clean your fucking house first. What are we gonna do with a whole country when some of the residents look the way they do? I mean, that's just my mentality, and all the things that I stand for is really just the simple concept of like take care of your home, take care of your people, and just be a good relative because it's not hard. That shit's free. You don't need to work for that. You don't need experience to be a good person. You can just be a good person. Hold the door for somebody. Take your mom's trash out. Like I'll be in some people's homes and I'm like, yo, like, oh, you guys are fucking lazy. You guys are grown men. You don't want to take your mom's trash out. You don't want to wash dishes. Shit, you know. So that's kind of like the whole message of who I am as a person is just focusing on doing the little things that can really, help people. Because right now, a lot of our, young men don't even understand, how to respect a woman. They don't because they seen their dad disrespect their mom. It goes deep, but it's like that's kind of where, I just want to help people understand that like you don't have to live the way that you were shown. You can always have better. You can always have more. You can turn your life around. Like, it's not hard. And it's just through those little concepts of being a good relative and just taking care of your family and respecting your elders and stuff. So, everything that I was taught, I just want to try to pass that on through the music, um, or through, through podcast conversations or whatever, be able to do that. So that's kind of like, I guess, the last topic, or just to sum up who I am as a person. But also respecting the craft of hip hop. A lot of people don't write enough. A lot of people they don't put the work in. The work is writing. The work is writing 30 verses, and none of them might sound good, but you get something out of each of them. The more you create, the more you do things. Um, it's like the more you do it, you'll start learning more. And if you're not doing enough in your traditional ways, if you're not doing enough in your personal life, your relationship, if you're not doing enough, like, it's gonna crumble. And everything takes work every day, and you got to wake up and go to work every day on everything. And it's just finding a balance, but taking on that challenge every day, because it is hard. You got to take on that challenge every day. So, it's it's just like, learning to be a good relative it's not hard to do, but it can be hard to maintain sometimes if you don't have a good mindset towards it. So yeah, just got to put the work in and respect the craft, respect the elders, respect the ways, respect, everything starts with respect and ends with respect, because then the more you do that, you'll start seeing better products. That's why my music is so good, because I respected hip hop, and I wrote my ass off. I didn't want it to sound whack. If something sounded whack, I went back and fixed it. I didn't just keep it as is. I went back and was like, nah, that don't work. I gotta go back and redo that. Even a little mess up in the vocal recording, run it back. And then it's like, then when it goes out, oh shit, this is actually pretty. And then that way, people like yourself, the way that you received Tiwahe, when I recorded that, I was in the worst, probably one of the worst places in my life. Because I seen my life and I seen the way the res was, and I was unhappy with both. And that was like a more of a letter to myself, to just reminding myself, like, who I am, where I come from, what you're fighting for, and telling myself, like, get the fuck up and get to work now. That you've done enough crying. You sat on your ass. You sat in your shit long enough. Get up now. That's what my mom used to say too. When we were young, when all the boys we'd have, like, all the boys at the house crashing out and stuff. Like, when we were like 14, 15, we'd be sleeping past noon, and my mom would just come in and she'd be like, get up now, she'd say. And that was kind of like the song for me, was telling myself to get up and just start making shit happen instead of sitting around. That's why
Man,
that song is so impactful.
hell yeah. Yeah, that song is super impactful for me, man. Like, you're inspiring the res kid all the way in California, in Point Arena, And that's the
Yeah.
amazing thing about this Instagram and all it. Like, yeah, it is a decolonized way of living, but like, it's connected so much of us, dude. Like, I made so many connections with this podcast and being able to conversate with people, and yeah, like, it's amazing. Like,
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what you continue to make and create, because like, all the words that you put out, man, they speak to me, and I feel the shit out of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and then if I know it's inspiring me, and it's inspiring like 10 other fucking kids too. So you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like, keep that pushing, because like, what you're saying and how you rock it, how you flow, how you do everything is key, man, and it's fucking dope. And I can't wait to continue like listening to you.
Well, I appreciate that. And before I go, I'll be performing in Oakland at the Indigenous Red Market this Sunday. I shared a flyer on my story if y'all want to go check it out. I'm gonna be doing a 30-minute set, so I'll be, doing all the best songs that I know how to do, and trying to just spread the energy to the listeners and stuff, and the people in attendance. And I also have more music on the way and stuff. I got all music on Spotify, Stuart James, Stuart James. I also have a clothing site, Tiwahe Store, Tiwahe store.com. Everything that I do is just, it's all self-owned stuff. So, but like I said, I really appreciate you, giving me that the time on your platform. And I hope to help spread your platform too, because I think what you're doing is really dope. I think that you're just giving people a voice and giving people exposure, regardless of, how big anybody's following is. It's important to have people help put each other on, because if we don't do it, who's going to do it? We're all sitting around waiting for some big name to do it. No, they're not going to. So the more that we help each other, the quicker that process will happen of everybody, making it where they're trying to get to.
Thank you, and I appreciate it. And like I said, I'm gonna keep rocking with you. I'm stoked. I'm gonna try to make it out there on Sunday to Oakland to rock with you on a live set, because I'm not trying to miss you out here. That'd be dope.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, thank you. I really appreciate you coming on, and I can't wait to see what you keep doing.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And thank you everybody for watching too, who's tuned in too. So thank you guys, much appreciated.
All right. Check you
I
later.
see you. Hope you guys
Yep.
have a good rest of your day too. Safe travels out to Oakland too.
Yes, sir. Thank you. We'll be making our way little by little. So, all
Hell yeah. Thank you guys.
right, later.
Later. All right, thank you guys, everyone who joined in on the live. Much appreciated to Stuart James, dope rapper out of North Dakota. Check him out. Dope shit coming out. Just dropped a clothing line. Check us out in the link in this bio. We got a bunch of stuff coming out of this new studio that I'm here in today. So tap in with me, and peace and love, y'all.